I'm Sherry. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful that you're here. If you like my content, please click the like button. And if you enjoy my content and it has helped you in any way, please share that in the comments below. And also, please share my content with your friends and family that could use an encouraging word or could use something that can help them change their lives. Please share it on any social media that you have. And today I am going to be doing part 2 of how to break free from your past. We all have a past and we all have things that we aren't proud that we did. We all have things that we really messed up really good on. So today I want to share one of the things that I do to stop the cycles that we tend to get in. I know this is going to sound really minimal, but it's really going to be something that's really going to change your life. When you put this into practice, it will literally change your entire life. And it makes you you have to consciously think of this every time that you start doing it. And that is that you have to take 100% responsibility for your life. It's not the government, it's not your neighbors, it's not your parents, it's not your best friend, it's not your husband, it's not your children. It's you that has to take responsibility for your life. And you have to take responsibility for everything that has happened to you in your life from when you were younger to now. You know, nobody made you do the things that you did. You know, you did that, and it was the result of the choices that you made that caused you to be in those circumstances. There could be some bad things that are in your life that you had no control over, but you take that and you move on. You don't allow that to define the rest of your life. You say, okay, this happened to me. I'm going to see where I can learn from this, and then I'm going to learn wisdom from this, and I'm going to move on into something else. I'm going to change my life for the better. I'm not going to stay in this endless cycle of doing the same thing over and over again for the rest of my life and never obtaining the life that I truly want. So that is the number one thing that is going to be about this broadcast today, is taking 100% responsibility for your life. Now, I want to talk a little bit about kind of what happens in American culture. Our culture is that of an entitlement. We think we're entitled to everything. We think we're entitled to the big house, the big cars, the big jobs, the six-figure incomes, but we don't want to do the work that it takes to get those. Almost all the millionaires and billionaires that are around today have worked hard. There are some old families that were born into money. In every society there are those, but there are millionaires and billionaires today that have worked at McDonald's or worked at Wendy's or worked at Kroger and have clawed their way to the top by doing whatever they had to do to get what they wanted. And they put goals together and they achieved those goals. They worked until they achieved them. But you can't, you can't learn anything if everybody's giving you stuff. You're not going to ever get the life that you want. You think you have it, but you really don't. You can be so much more than that. Okay, if you want to be successful, you must take 100% responsibility for your life, for all your achievements, for all of your results that you produced up till now, for the quality of your relationships. You're the one that makes your relationships the quality of the relationships that they are. It's the people that you choose to be around. Look at the 5 top people in your life. Look at them and look where they are. Are they where you want to go? Or are they at a different place that you are? Are those the people that you want to become like? If not, then it may be time to find a new set of friends. If you want to be a CEO with a 6 or 7 figure income, but you're hanging around with people that make $15 and $20 an hour, you're not gonna learn what you need to know to get that 7-figure income and to be a CEO. These people don't have those skills, but you have to go find those people that have those skills, and you have to listen to them. You have to be mentored by them, And you have to hang around with people like that. You have to hang around with the people that you want to be most like. And if you don't want to be working at Amazon or working at Best Buy or working at Kroger for the rest of your life, then you're going to have to break free of those cycles and those friendships. You can have those friends, but they're not going to be the key 5 people in your life that are going to actually impact your life. So you want to look at the friends that you have, and you want, if they are not in the place where you want to go, then you need to find friends that are in the place that you want to go. And you want to be mentored by them, and you want to change your life, and you want to learn from them. So that's where you need to go with that. You have to be responsible for your health. If you don't eat healthy and you're not healthy, then you have to take responsibility for that. And you have to be the one that changes that. Your income, your debt, your feelings. You have to take responsibility for your feelings and your actions. Nobody else is going to take responsibility for what you feel and your actions that you have, that you portray. So, all of our lives, we are conditioned to blame someone, something, or someone else for our failures or the parts of our lives that we don't like. We all have parts of our lives that we don't like. We all have failures, but we're always quick to blame somebody else. Well, it was their fault. It was my boss's fault that I didn't get the job that I wanted. It's my boss's fault that my job, I hate my job. No, it's your responsibility, that you take the responsibility to change your life. Nobody else can do that for you. When you're complaining and you're blaming, it doesn't do any good. It's just air coming out. It doesn't change your life. It just makes you feel good for that moment in time. We blame our coworkers, we blame our parents, we blame our bosses, our friends, we blame the media even. Our spouse, we'll blame the economy for our lack of money. We never look at where the real blame lies, and the real blame lies within ourselves. We are the ones that cause the situations that are in our life. And if we don't want those situations, then we have to look back and say, okay, what can I do differently? And I'm going to get to that in just a minute. You have to ask yourself this question. Do I take 100% responsibility for my life? It's a simple question. It's a yes or no. Either yes you do or no you don't. I can tell you how you're going to know the right answer. If you blame something or someone, or you blame anything, the circumstances in your life on anything or anyone, then you're not taking 100% responsibility for your life, because you're passing that blame off onto someone else. When you take 100% responsibility, you understand that you're the cause of all your experiences. You're the one that is the reason why you are in the place that you're in. It's not your mom, it's not your dad, it's not your boss, it's not your co-workers, it's you. It's not the economy, it's not somebody on media, it's not the TV, it's you. And once you realize that, that's a pivotal point in learning to break free of the cycles that are in your life, learning to break free of your past. This is the number one key, is when we take it to this point and we accept 100% responsibility. We may not like that idea. It's going to hurt to take responsibility for everything that went wrong in your life for yourself. That's going to hurt. It's not going to be something easy. It's going to be painful to get to this point. But then once you get to this point, then you're going to see the mistakes you made, and you're going to stop making those same mistakes. You're going to be able to get out of the cycles that you're in, and you're going to be able to create new situations and new outcomes for the situations that you're putting yourself into. You have to acknowledge that you and you alone have created everything up until now. You've created every circumstance. You've created every opposition. You've created everything in your life right up until this point in time. And you just have to say, no excuses. I don't have any more excuses. I made my life here. I am here. I'm going to accept where I'm at right now. But you know what? I'm going to learn from this, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to take inventory of myself, my emotions, my feelings, and I'm going to set a plan in motion for where I want to go. I'm going to get my mirror and get a marker, and I'm going to write on my mirror where I want to go. Or I'm going to write down explicitly where I want to go. And then I'm going to start putting together a plan to get to that point. If you want to be that CEO that's way up here, you can't hang around with people down here. You got to go find these people. So you have a lot of changes from here to here to get to where you want to go. So you have to have a plan. You can't just wander through life without a plan. I mean, you can, and you're going to find you're going to go in the same circles all the time. I did it. I've been there, done that. And, you know, I'm working on breaking free. I mean, we all go in cycles. So, and we all will go back to complaining, but we have to remember we can't complain. In my house, it's a no complaining rule. Can't isn't a word in my house, and you can't blame somebody else for something that you did. You have to take that responsibility. Okay, so now let's get to the real meat of this lesson. What do we need to do to take 100% responsibility for our life? Well, number one, you have to give up all excuses. 99% of the failures that come from people who have reported, like 99% of the failures that people report, they had excuses. There was an excuse. 99% of the population, they have an excuse for why they failed. They don't take that responsibility. And I can tell you this, every billionaire, every CEO, every COO, every chief operating officer in this country, in the world, they will tell you they take 100% responsibility for where they are. They worked hard to get where they were or where they are, and they work hard to stay there. They don't excuse their actions. They don't have excuses. It's cut and dried. It's my responsibility. And if you really, really are looking to change your life, listen to Gary Vaynerchuk. He's got a lot of great information, and he talks about this stuff right here. You take responsibility for self, and you create the life you want. You don't wait for somebody else to come along and do it. You do it. It's your job. It's your life. You create the life you want. And if you don't like what it is right now, create something different. Create a different outcome. But you got to figure out, what do you have to do to get a different outcome? Well, I'm going to tell you that too. Okay, you have to give up that victim story. Everybody has hundreds of victim stories throughout their lives. You got to get them up. Let them go. Let them go. Put them on a piece of paper, throw them in a trash can, set the trash can on fire, put them in a burn barrel. I don't care what you do. Just get rid of them. No victim stories. And all the reasons why you can't. Can't doesn't get you anywhere. Can get you places. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's my scripture. I say that at least once a day. I can do all things through Christ. I can do all things through Christ. I can do this. In Jesus, I can do this. That is my go-to scripture for anything that's so hard that I feel like I can't get through. I don't say, oh, I can't do it. I say, I can do this through Christ. I can get through this. I can do this. And find something that helps you get through things. And while you haven't up till now, that's the next one. Why haven't you done the changes that you need to make up till now? You got to give it up. Give it up. All your blaming of outside circumstances. Well, it was the weather, or it was my boss, or it was the car didn't start. No, if your car would have started, if you put a good battery in it, or if you cleaned a battery post, or if you did the daily maintenance, your car would have started. You know, it comes back to it's your own fault because you didn't do the maintenance as you needed to do. So that's why you can't blame the circumstances, because it all still comes back to you. Okay, you have to give up all of these forever. Give them up. Let them go. Let them just go out into the universe and let them go far, far away. Okay, you need to take the position that you have always had the power to make it different. And you do. You have the power to change your outcome. You're the only one that has that power. If you want to get that good job, it's in your power to do it. It's if you're willing to do the hard work, if you're willing to go to school, if you're willing to sit every night in online classes and do the work that you need to do to claw yourself and dig up to that position. You're the one that stops you. It's no one else that stops you. You're the one that stops. Okay. All right. Let's go on. Okay. Your past is the past. It's over. It's done with. Do not let that past define you. Do not let it define who you are, because people will define you by your past. But if you don't want to be defined by your past, then you need to change your future. You need to change your present and your future. If you did things in your past that people think of you in that position, in that way, or in that, uh, what would you say, that category of people, then if you want them to think of you differently, then you have to move away from that. You have to let it go, and you have to choose another path, another plan. Because if you stay in the same path that you did in your past, if you continue to walk in that same path, you haven't changed anything. So you have to change. You have to put positive change. If you want people to see you in a different way, you have to really change. You can't stay in the same path and expect people to think that you're not the same person you were in the past, because they're not. They're going to see, oh, well, they're just faking it. They're just going to fake it till they make it. And, they haven't really changed. But if you really want to change and you really want a different life, you have to really set your mind to it. You have to set goals. You have to set strides for yourself. Every month I'm going to do this, every week I'm going to do this, every day I'm going to do this, and that's going to lead me out of that circle that I've been going in, out from around the mountain. The Israelites stayed in the wilderness for 40 years because they were not willing to change. They were not willing to follow God. So God dealt with them in the wilderness, a journey that would have took 3.5 days, 4 days. It took them 40 years. And finally, God just said, I got to let this generation die off in the wilderness, because they're a hard people to change. They won't change. They're still crying over Israel. They're still finding excuses as why they can't do it. They still have excuses of they want to go back to Egypt where they were slaves. They don't want to be free. So God said, I can't use this generation, so I'm going to let them die off, and I'm going to use their kids. And he brought their kids into the promised land, because the older generation just wasn't willing to change and make a different life for themselves outside of the slavery that they were in. If you have things in your life right now that you need to evaluate and change, what direction you want to go in, then look at each circumstance and choose what is the best outcome for you. What is the best direction that you can go? Like if you had some really major things that are in your life, and you're at a low point in your life, you're sitting there, you don't have a job, or you don't have anyone to help you, or you're down on your luck in some way, you've got to look what got you to that point. What was it? Honestly, you got to be honest with yourself, because if you're not honest with yourself, you're not going to make this work. You have to be honest with yourself and realize what got you to the place that you're in right now. Write it down and say, this is what started, this is what got me to this place. You don't blame anybody but yourself. You don't say, well, my mother put me there, my dad put me there, my boss put me there, my best friend put me here. No, what was your part in this? You are in the place that you are in right now because you chose to be there. You chose to do certain things, you chose certain choices, which led to the point that you're in right now. So what you want to do, you want to realize where you are, and then you want to say, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. So what am I going to have to do to change this outcome? I want to change this outcome of where I'm at. So what do I need to do? So if you don't have a job, you need to figure out, well, what kind of job do you want? And you need to go get it. But in the meantime, you might have to go and work at McDonald's or work at Wendy's, or you might have to go at Kroger, or you might have to go to Myers, or a job that's close by that's going to give you an income to where you can pay for the school, to where you can pay for the college that you need or the online classes that you need to be able to get the job up here. And like I was saying, you're here, but you want to go up here. Well, you got to take steps. So you might be on this first rung of these steps. So you have to do this here before you can get here. You're not going to go from here to here overnight. It may take you several years. It may take you 5 years to get to here. It may take you 10 years to get to here. But when you get here, you'll know it, and you'll have a process that you've worked, and you work your process that you make. So you decide, where do you want to go, and you want to decide who do you want to go with you. You know, you got to look at your friends. You got to say, well, these people, they're not in my scheme of where I want to be, you know, so I'm going to move into a different field. I'm going to move into a different section of my life, and I want to learn from people that are smarter than me. I love being in a room where I'm the dumbest person there, because I can learn something from every single other person that's in that room. I never like being the smartest person in a room. I want to be the dumbest person in that room, because I know there are so many golden nuggets in that room that I need to jot them down, or I need to put my phone on record and listen, and I'll go home and I'll listen to it over and over, and I'll meditate on what I learned, because I learn from the people that know more than I do. And I like to take their wisdom and use it in my life. And that's the same thing that you're going to have to do to be able to move on and move up into your life. Okay, then if your choice, if it didn't turn out the way you wanted to and you're in a bad spot, you need to find out, what did I do to get here? So it was your choices. Number one, we done said that is your choices. Okay, what do I need to ask myself? Well, here's what you need to ask yourself. How did I create it? What was I thinking? When you were making all these choices, what were you thinking? What were your belief systems? What did you believe to be true at that point in time? What did you believe was going to happen at that time? Where was your heart's beliefs at that time? What did I say or not say to create that situation or create the result? How did I get the other person to act the way that they acted in that situation? If there were people involved, then what did you do to make the situation turn out the way it did? So you have to go back and uncreate that. What did I need to do differently next time to get the result that I want? That's the key thing is when you're analyzing your life and you're seeing the situations that happen to you, and you say, okay, what do I need to do to recreate the next time a different result? And see, that's the whole thing. You're learning how to create and uncreate the results. If you created a series of choices that led to your not having a job, okay, you have to go back and see, well, what did I do to get to the point that I don't have a job? So you write that down. You say, okay, this is what I did. Okay, now what do I need to uncreate that? So if I did X and that got me to the point of no job, so now I need to do Y to get to the point where I have the job that I want. So if you did, you didn't come to work on time, you didn't do the job correctly, you didn't do it to your manager's specifications, you did what you thought was right. See, that's things that we did that caused us to lose the job. Or you just didn't want to go, so you just didn't go. Okay, that's your choice, and that's your choice. So you have to realize that was your choice. So now you have to uncreate all that. Okay, I need a job, I need money because I have rent and I have payments and I have, mechanical bills and, car bills. I mean, there's all kinds of bills. You have to have a job. You have to make a choice. So what am I going to do in the next job? I'm going to make sure I show up on time. I'm going to make sure I do the job to what they say, or whatever you didn't do, make sure you do in this point. So then that way you could stay. You might have to stay at that job that you don't like for a year or two to get to the point to where you can apply for the job that you do want, because you've got to get the education, you've got to get the experience, you've got to get whatever you need, and you've got to have the mentorship of these 5 people that's going to help you get up there. Because if you're, like I've said, if you're this people down here that don't have the experiences up here, you're never going to get there. So it's those people that are going to help you get the job that you want, because they're going to know the ins and outs of the system, and they're going to be able to help you learn different things that's going to place you in the position that you are going to be ready for that job when it does come. So that's kind of my first take on this. I know we all have past that we want to get rid of, and this is the one thing that I find that's probably the most pivotal thing, is that we take responsibility for our actions, whether it's good or whether it's bad. I mean, it's not somebody else that created or did it to us. we create our own actions. Now this went a little bit over. This is 25 minutes, and I'm so sorry that it's taking a while, but I really wanted to hit home with this. I'll make sure my next video isn't quite so long. So if you have any questions, please post them in the comments below. And please, if you have any questions, please post them in the comments. I love answering your questions. Thank you to some of the people. I've had so many people email me about this, and they wanted me to do this series to help them learn to get out of cycles to where they can move forward in their lives. And I'm so grateful that you have asked, and I am working on this series now. This is part 2, so part 3 will be coming quite soon. So thank you, and be sure to share this with someone that needs to break out of cycles so that they can learn and they can start learning. So I hope you have a great night and a great evening. Bye-bye.